Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you all my Dark Knight Samurai build which I've been working on, and it's a very powerful build. So basically how the build works is you are going to be using two job classes, the Dark Knight and the Berserker. The Dark Knight is going to be the one which you're going to use for damage, and the Berserker class, which is something which you are going to use to get all our buffs, so that we're able to do even more damage. So basically how the build works is you need to make a character which has a job infinity of about 400% on Dark Knight and about 250% on Berserker and around 120% on Samurai. So just ignore all the other job affinities, because for this job affinity these three are the only important, like Dark Knight, Berserker and Samurai. If you have these affinities at the same percentage as mine, then you're good to go when it comes to damage, alright? And for the combat abilities, I'm going to be using Garo on all three of my attacks. It's only on the Senshin stance. I have Oka, Tsukikage, on third one to Garo. You need to use third one on the Garo so that you get a reset again on your Senshin stance if you want. And all the other two I'm using Garo. So when it comes to Katana, what I basically you should do is I'm using Byaku. Some people here like to use Zaku Muramasa because of the two abilities it gives you, but I don't think it's that good, because and at the same time it's kind of difficult to get the artifact rarity of this katana. You can easily get all the other katanas. Just you need to make sure that on your katana you need to have at least 120% job infinity in Samurai. That way it's more easier to make your build, alright? And for Dark Knight, the reason why we're using Dark Knight at 400% is because of the last resort at 400%. What it does, it triggers all the passives which activate at near death. Alright, so let's basically, you say over here at 120%, you get increase in damage dealt when near death by 15%. It will be active all the time if you have it at 400%. So you actually get 15% from 128% and 9% more when it's at 50%. Alright, at the same time, what's good about is you can be very tanky if you have some job affinity points in Berserker also. You see, at 50% you are able to refill your gauge based on damage you did. Alright, so and you're gonna deal a lot of damage. So yeah, it's not very easy for the enemies or even the bosses to break your gauge, alright? And see, again, one more bonus you get at 120%. What's interesting about Berserker is the Savage Awakening. So what it does, it grants you a protective shell which decreases your damage reduction. But since you have 400% at Dark Knight, these two will be active all the time. This only activates at near death, but because of last resort, it'll be active all the time. Alright. Now, Lancer, just ignore it. And even for the Warrior, just ignore it. I mean, wall spat, break damage is good, but Garo has a very low chance of doing a wall splat, alright? So, your Samurai. Samurai because it's good because at 50% it decreases the MP cost of your action abilities. So at 50% you get a 6% bonus, and at 120% you get 10. So basically 16% decrease. Alright, and what is interesting is you can also add effects on your armor and even on your weapon to stack more MP cost reduction when using your abilities. Mine is basically at around, let's see how much is it. Mine is actually at around, as you can see, is at 35.2%. That's the decrease I get. I can increase it up to 45% if I upgrade my gear, but the resource material is very hard to come by. Alright, see, I have action ability MP cost in every gear piece, even on the weapon. Alright, see, action ability MP cost, action ability MP cost, action ability MP cost on all of them. At the same time, I'm making sure that I keep 3 effects constant on all my gear. Action ability MP cost, MP recovery, with normal attacks and all damage dealt. Well, it would have been even better if you get damage dealt at near death, but that is only exclusive to Abyss gear in this game. So if you are lucky and you get the gear with the job affinities like which you want for the build, then use that. But for now, I'm just using all damage dealt. This is just I'm trying to tell you that my build is not that perfect yet. All right, even my build is not perfect. You can make it even more better if you want. Again, for Dawn Cape also and everything. You can use Suzaku Muramasa because it has an exclusive stat of near death damage dealt. Alright, you cannot get it on any other katana, even through the smithy. So that's a good one, but again, I said it is very difficult to get samurai job affinity on it, and it's very difficult to farm also. You only get it from one main mission, or and also from only one boss in the entire game. All right, so that's too much of an RNG over there. So you don't need to grind. You don't want that. You might end up farming for around 10 hours and you still not get it. All right, that's for the job Dark Knight, and now job for the Berserker. Now for Berserk, it's not actually specializes in that. It's just for the name so that I can get the Berserk buff out of it, and just changed back to Dark Knight to get the effect. So basically, what the important job affinities are: Void Knight and Thief. If you want, I was lucky enough to get it to 400%, so that way I'm able to farm rare gear. Not of the basic enemies, because this class of mine does not do enough damage. But when it comes to boss fights, alright, you need to press circle before finishing them off in this game, right? So before you press circle, you just switch to this class and then finish the boss. That way you have higher chance of getting rare equipment, alright? But you don't actually need Thief here. And you also don't need Berserker. The important ones are Void Knight, White Mage. Now you need White Mage at 120%, because at 50% it increases the duration of your buffs by 7.5%, and at 120% it increases it by 12.5%, which is even more. So it stacks. And the third job affinity, which can be very important, I don't find it that beneficial, but it's up to you. So you can try to get the samurai to 250%. So every time you switch your class, switch your job affinity, while doing any of the combo abilities, it'll give you a buff, which is of 60% buff, and it's very short. It lasts for around 10 seconds basically. So, and by the time you're doing it in a boss fight, it may work, but if you try to buff up at the start of the boss and then enter the arena, by the time you reach the boss, the buff will go down. Alright? So it's not that beneficial. If the duration were longer, then it would have been good. Again, Dark Knight, you don't need it. Now, the reason why we are targeting job affinities like Void Knight, White Mage, and Samurai over here, because what Void Knight does is that at 400%, it reduces the cost of your command abilities. That's a significant decrease. Like if you have like 2.5 MP, you're able to cast around all three of your command abilities if you want. So basically, what I'm doing over here is I'm using command abilities like Lance Slit, Mighty Strikes, and Blood Weapon. Now, why am I using this? Alright? So, Dark Knight has this class ability called Soul Eater. So, basically, what it does is, I'll show you. Where's Dark Knight? Alright. So, Dark Knight, it does this, or it creates this aura around your character, but it actually gives you a damage buff. So, when you have unlocked everything, especially this one, Soul Mastery, what it does is that if you don't have it unlocked and you use Soul Eater, it'll consume your MP. But if you have Soul Mastery unlocked, it will not consume your MP. It'll be at 0 cost. Alright? And the thing is, Soul Mastery only activates when you're near death. Excuse me. Soul Mastery only activates when you're near death, right? But since we have here Dark Knight Affinity at around 400%, it'll be active all the time. So even if you're at full health, you're using your Soul Eater, you won't drain your MP at all. Okay? Kinda not well today. So, again. So, when it comes to Dark Knight, you see, Soul Eater actually gives you a damage buff, but when you deal damage to the enemy, it consumes your HP too, right? So if you deal damage, keep damaging the enemy, you're going to be losing your HP. But to negate that reduction in your HP, we are using the two command abilities, which are known as Blood Weapon and Lancet. Lancet actually gives you health and MP, so that you at the same time you're getting MP too while you're attacking the enemy. The health regen from Lancet is not that much. It only activates when you have Mighty Strikes, because Mighty Strikes, what it does is that it targets the weakness of the enemy, no matter if you have the weapon imbued in any of the elements or not. If you have this command ability active, you'll target the weakness of the enemy. And Blood Weapon. Now this is a very good one. Based on the amount of damage you're gonna deal, it's like no attack in this game can kill you. If you have all three active with Berserker and your Soul Eater, nothing. No attack in this game can even stagger you, except the attacks with the red aura on them. Alright? Only those attacks are gonna stagger you. No other attacks are gonna do that. Alright? So that's just basically it about the build. I'll just do one boss fight to show how it works. I'm going to be using this mission at mission level 300. I'm basically trying to farm Suzaku Muramasa with Samurai Job Affinity on it. So, let's see. Again, whenever you start missions like this, the game does not give you enough MP. So it's just better to go in and try to parry the boss a little so that you get more FP. See, as you can see, now I've changed to my Job Affinity, which I'm going to use to buff up my character. But as you can see, since I do not have last resort on this one, as soon as I switch to Dark Knight again, I have that protective shell all the time. Okay, so that's a very good thing about it. So you are a very tanky character. You can like tank all the hits in this game. Nothing can one-shot you. If you don't have this and on Chaos difficulty at level 300 mission, even a damn goblin can one-shot you. Alright, that's how fragile your character is without this buff. They should fix it, but let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna start the boss fight. So I'm just gonna parry him a little to get some MP. Alright, just a little more. Probably enough. So, just a little more. Okay, now I have enough. I'm gonna move back, get all my buffs. Alright, now he's just gonna die. He cannot kill me. I'm getting a lot of health back. So, before you finish off the enemy, switch the stance. Always finish off the enemy in this stance if you can, so that you get higher equipment rate. Profit, sorry. So now he has the habit of doing the same attack first in the first phase. So, I'm gonna parry it. When he goes down, I'm gonna get all my buffs up. So, whenever he comes back out, just go behind the circle and then assault.
We can work with that.
See, I didn't even get all my buffs this time, I guess. Okay? Switch to the other class before finishing him off. Alright? And that's it. That's the boss fight. So, I mean, I could have used different machine to demonstrate the build here, but that way the video would be too long. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and good luck with grinding all the armors and sets in the game, alright? Thanks.